Hey everyone, today we are speaking with the team to sadly be eliminated from The Amazing Race 36, Danny and Angie. I'm Emma.
I'm Evie.
And I'm Adam.
And welcome back to the Tar Pit Podcast.
Hi, Danny and Angie. Thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate you guys taking your time to share your thoughts and experiences with us. Thank you. Welcome back.
Thanks for having us. Definitely cut a little bit short, but you know what? We're so grateful for the experience that we had and the memories that we made, and excited to chat with y'all.
Thank you. So let's dive into the questions so we're not taking too much of your time. I know you guys are pulled in multiple directions this week. So most recently, one thing that stood out to us when we watched this last episode is that Danny mentioned following Cesar and Ricky in Barbados. But typically you guys are like the navigation leaders. What was the thinking behind that, if there was any?
I love that. Yes. What was the thinking behind that, Danny?
Oh, yeah.
Mom was like,
Mom was sitting there going, why are you following them? And I think it was our first time in the first place group.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a friendship with Ricky and Cesar. And so I was like, sweet, like we can just get to the first location together. Like that'll be great. Just because when you leave in groups and going to the first location, but sitting there, no, navigation is literally my strength.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I was like, we're in the top group, and all went out the window. Like we'd been racing from the back and the middle and hadn't experienced like being in the front before. And so I think it gave us a good experience, which unfortunately did lead to our elimination, but I learned a lot.
Well, I will say though, that really lasted for probably 3 minutes before we got our map, and we literally got in the cars. Okay. Danny said that, and we landed at the next gas station, and at that gas station we separated. We did our own thing, and it was pouring rain. So that Danny got so excited, but then he was able to say, okay, whoa, what am I doing? And then we took over from there. So
cool. Okay. That makes sense then. Putting some context to it. And I think it makes, I think it takes all of us back to the days of being invited to the cool kids table. Just, you're just so excited. So I get it.
So, did you go into the race expecting to make alliances, or did it kind of just happen? It looked pretty strong in Uruguay.
Yeah. In Uruguay, I think we ran our own race. In Montevideo, right. That's where we were like, hey, thriving, going for second place. But in Cordova, Argentina, during the mega leg, the alliance was really strong. Like the alliance was. And I came in, I love Survivor, and I was like, if I'm going to get my game show experience, like I need to make an alliance. And so we did on the plane ride from like Mexico to Colombia. Like me and Vinny got to know each other pretty well. And then that race day in Colombia, you saw, we ended up forming a pretty good bond because we were at the mat, the first 2 episodes, Mom, with Vinny and Amber in Mexico?
Yes, we were. And the only time we got to talk to them was on the mat or on the airplane. We could talk about families and stuff. So the boys, well, I slept, the boys talked. So that's all we got to know. We didn't get to see how anyone was running their race or see them any other time, except if we were racing with them or in the airplane.
So let's dive into you guys' elimination. There has been a lot of controversy in the fan world about it. Was there anything that we didn't see on the aired episode that also factored into it?
Go ahead, Danny.
I think like watching it back now, there's so many thoughts. But I think the big thing, like a couple of things just to name is like our crew wasn't there when the line is like, oh, our crew is there. Like that line is spliced in. Like our crew wasn't there. But I do think I thought about this, but they actually gave us a time credit earlier in the day because of the storms, because of how bad it was. And I think there probably was some element of like, we've already given some time credits today. We're already trying to figure out all these
to all the teams. All the teams got time credit.
And so they're trying to figure out multiple things at a time. I understand like this was a situation that's unprecedented on The Amazing Race. And they were doing the absolute best that they probably were trying to, but it did play obviously a very large factor in us going home.
And Danny and I are of the mindset that we're just so grateful for being on the race. And we had just people are like, aren't you mad? Aren't you upset? Aren't you? And it's like, no, because we really believe that what happens for a reason. And we know that the Lord works in our lives, and nothing happens to us that hasn't gone through his hands first. And so we aren't bitter. We aren't mad. We maybe want to come back. I know Danny does. We're really thankful for all the people that have been so supportive. And there's people that are upset on our behalf, and we just want them to know we're okay. We're okay. Mm-hmm. And would we have loved to have gone further? Sure. But also, like Danny says, we went out in a way that nobody's ever gone out before.
Right. Right.
So, and that our production team was awesome. I mean, there is just no ill will with anybody. We loved them. We loved our cameramen. It was a local driver that was driving. Would we love to know where they ended up? Yes, we would. But, it's something we'll never know. And so why waste energy thinking about it? So
that's a good attitude. I like that. We just wanted to tell you about our new and exciting project. We just launched a YouTube channel that will have great travel shorts for your family. We're calling them Travel Bites. You can find our new channel at youtube.com/@thetarpitpodcast.
And don't forget to click subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications every time we post a new video. So was it the same crew, or did they give you a different crew?
So they gave us a different crew when they got to the challenge, like the detour challenge. So when we got out of our car and there's the line that's like, oh, our crew has arrived. Mm-hmm. That line is not really said there. Okay. That line is said elsewhere.
Okay.
Crew didn't end up arriving. So we got a different crew there. And then towards the end of the detour challenge, which I think ultimately we sat for 45 minutes, and then about 25 minutes into the challenge, our crew arrived.
After we were on the beach and building, they came down to the beach.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And when I've been looking at the social media groups, because the girls are younger, so we don't really let them on social media much, but I do for the podcast.
Good job, Dad.
I do for the podcast. And so on all the different fan sites, I'm like, wow, people are really passionate about this episode. Holy cow. And I thought it was great, Danny, that you piped in on one of the groups that I saw and put a message. And basically what Angie was saying, we're all right, we're good. Just trying to calm things down a bit. I thought that was really cool of you. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Aside from that incident, what are some of the more challenging moments that you remember from the whole experience?
The whole experience?
Yeah, overall.
Yeah.
What are some moments? Yeah.
They were all challenging moments. The challenging moment was, I think my most challenging moment, as everyone saw on TV, was the car, the Argentina car, just because I couldn't see above the car, and the actual race, the racing of the car served its purpose. It totally messed me up. And then when I went over, I couldn't think that, that was just a puzzle, right? It was just a puzzle, Angie. And so I kind of blew that one. And then I wasn't prepared for the humidity in the countries that we went to for the heat. So I love heat. I love Phoenix. I grew up in Phoenix. I love dry heat, but that humidity, on the days there was cooler temperatures, I was like, woohoo, it was awesome. So yeah. So those were my challenges, is kind of physical challenges.
But it was really cool to see God's strength and God's encouragement, and what it looked like to watch my mom get back up and never give up. I think a challenging part for me was actually the sequestering. So usually on a normal season of The Amazing Race, outside of COVID, you can talk with each other during the airport scenes because they're filmed by cast, and you can build these really beautiful relationships. But because of COVID, it was kind of you couldn't talk. You were supposed to limit all talking, any strategy talk. And we didn't really get to dive as deep into relationship during the show as I think I would have hoped for my Amazing Race experience.
So Angie, I can't believe that Amber did the whole entire puzzle for you.
So, okay, I can actually say she didn't. I told Amber where it started because she didn't know where it started. So they don't show that on camera, but I knew that it was a middle corner piece. Amber could not get that first piece, but you're right. Wasn't that a beautiful blessing, and showed Amber's heart of just handing over a gift like that? And, it's so interesting when you think you're done, and it's so humbling too, as a mom, to accept help from someone my kids' age. As a mom, I wanted to take care of everybody else. But her sweetheart was so vulnerable that day and just shared that with me. And I could be like, oh, I don't need your help. Or I could be, wow, thank you. What a gracious gift this is that the Lord just handed me through Amber. And those are times in your life where you just go, okay, this is what goodness looks like. And I was so thankful. There was nothing about the $1 million in that moment. It was about a young girl helping me move on to the next stage. And it was really beautiful.
Well, when you were mentioning the getting, especially Danny and Vinny, getting to know each other well, I thought of that moment. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. The emotion that was in that, you know, it was more than just the game. It was like, oh, they have a real connection here.
It was funny.
It was very sweet.
There was one camera guy who's been on The Amazing Race since season 5, and he said he has never, ever cried on The Amazing Race before until the moment with Mom and Amber. And he is just, tears are coming down his face as he's filming.
So it was really a real moment. And I think if anything, I don't know how well the camera cut that, but it really was showing who Amber was, and just a beautiful moment. So
yeah. That sounds like an amazing moment. What were some of your other favorite memories from The Amazing Race?
Well, the very first day, my son had lived this for, this was his dream, like you girls. So a mom getting to watch her son open that clue the first time, hear Phil say, "Are you ready? Get ready, start. The world is waiting for you." And just watching Danny in taking in that he was on The Amazing Race was so cool. It was just, for me to watch him be able to fulfill that dream was, no matter how far we got, was awesome.
I loved paragliding in Colombia, but genuinely, I woke up every morning excited. I was like, it is Christmas all over again. I get to open another present. I don't think there was a challenge on that show that I didn't want to do. Like, I would go back and run every single one of those days over and over and over again, just for the fun of it. So I think I loved all of those moments. And I think a highlight moment as well is like the family and the community afterwards. Like, the Amazing Race community is so cool of the way they care and celebrate the new teams. And I'm excited now to be on the other side where I get to welcome in new teams as well.
Oh, that's so cool. That's nice. I like that. Was there anything that didn't make the show that you were hoping would?
Yeah, so in Uruguay, there is a segment where I called it was Sneaky Danny. And I was like, oh, Sneaky Danny doesn't work with any teams today. Like, Sneaky Danny, we're going to have people follow us and then turn the wrong way or slow down at a yellow light so they get stuck at a red light. But we were just, I thought that segment would be included and it wasn't, which was actually really funny.
That sounds funny. That would have been good to see.
His mom wouldn't let him be Sneaky Danny.
So, Mom, were there any moments that you remember that you're like, oh?
No, I mean, I think just, I think they captured Danny really well and the way he cared and honored me. I thought that was really beautiful. There was a time at the mat, in the Argentina day that Danny and I got to the mat third, and we waited for Vinny and Amber to get on the mat, and they don't show that we're there first. And we are there first, and then Rod and Chi-Chi hop on the mat, and then Vinny and Amber. And I guess I wish they would have shown that a little bit, just to show that we honored Vinny and Amber in some sort of way as well. So that would have been, and just to show that it's not just always about the $1 million, even though we're very competitive, but we also know we weren't last. So there's a way you can still, like Danny said, there's a way you can still honor people in a competitive nature. And I wish they would have shown that. So.
Yeah, that would have been nice to see.
So who have you guys been able to contact with the most since the race?
Like, on our season?
Yeah.
Well, Mom got to go visit the twins in Florida.
Yeah, that was really fun. And I see Mel and Evo, the people that I wouldn't help. I see them probably the most because they live in San Diego by Danny. So I always go walking with Mel or go hang out. And then I've seen Kishori a couple times because she used to live in LA. So Danny and I have had dinner with her a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk to them all the time. I mean, we talk to a lot of people a lot. So Danny, though, has been, I mean, obviously that was an age group that was way more fit for Danny. So he's been in touch with all of them.
Yeah, I love talking with all of them. I talk with Bailey and Anthony. Like I talk with Juan and Shane.
Oh yeah, we went to Juan and Shane's in Spokane.
Yep, Ricky and
nice.
Cesar. Like I think there are the people that you can see that love the show that talk about the show nonstop afterwards as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we all just text each other and like, what'd you think about this edit? What'd you think about this? And so that has been really, really fun. Rohan and Maya, like love both of them. Mary, I've gotten hung out with Mary like multiple times in LA. Really, really cool. Derek and Shalisa, awesome. They took us to breakfast. Like, I love this cast. Good crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everyone seems really nice that we've met. And I would say last season too, everyone that we met last season, everyone seemed to get along and really supportive of each other and stayed really connected afterwards too.
Yeah.
I think the disadvantage we had was that we had to wait a year and a half to have this show. But the advantage in that is that we all really relied on each other. We were the only ones we could talk to about it. And so we really developed some close bonds in that year and a half. So
that is nice. I like that. Speaking of, is there anything that you want people to know just about The Amazing Race, about the experience? Like what's your big take home for people?
It's not a travel show. It's not a way to see the world because you are in racing mode, and but it is one of the greatest experiences of your life, and that you're gonna walk out of there with new relationships that are so awesome. And I found some new courage for me that allowed me to take risks that I don't think I normally would have taken. So I grew personally in many ways with the show. Danny, how about you?
I think for me, like chase your dreams and like trust in the Lord. Like those are two huge things. It's like I had this dream since I was a kid. Like I told people there's a newspaper clipping that's up on my fridge right now of like when I was 14 in the local newspaper. I was like, oh, Danny and Angie, like I'm gonna be on The Amazing Race someday with my mom. And then to like chase that dream and actively pursue it, and then to have the dream come true, and then to see how God opened those doors and like trusting in him like led to some really beautiful and incredible things. I think the race has changed my life in like really incredible ways.
That's nice. And also, I mean, I have to say, out of everyone that we've met this season and last season, Danny, you were born for this show. And I think, and I even put that on one of the fan groups, but I think the comment where you piped in was trying to calm things down. I'm like, you were born for this. If anything came from this too, I think CBS knows who they need to hire. They know who their next crew member has to be.
Yeah, I'm actually hosting a San Diego Amazing Race next Friday for my whole department. So I've been collaborating with San Diego locations, but it'd be awesome. So Amazing Race, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, we're going to start a campaign.
Good job.
There we go. This is how we can make it right. We can make it right this way.
And if they hire him, that means they can't invite me back because he's working for them.
Right.
So
He's
I
a
think
relative,
it's
right?
awesome, right? He gets his dream, mom gets to sleep. So anyways,
I love it.
No, definitely Danny's dream to work on. And his brain is so talented and gifted. He'd definitely be an asset to Amazing Race. And he knows how it works both now because he's been on it, right? So go Danny.
Yeah. No, we are championing this all the way.
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. But what's next for you guys? And can you remind our listeners how they can keep up with you on social media?
So you can follow me at Dbuts, DBUTSS, which is my last name and first initial, on Instagram. Or you can follow, I run a puzzle account called The Puzzle Butler. Those are just ways. Or our podcast is Read the Clue Recaps on YouTube. We are going to continue the podcast, or at least I am. I might find just some new co-hosts, but I would say that's where you can
I'm not much of a social media person, so.
But Mom has.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
There's this summer coming up. She's going to travel. Gonna go see.
Yeah, I'm going to see my kids. That's what I do. I have 4 adult children, and I just say, okay, whose turn is it to host mom? And so we've got some trips going, and I might, I've been teaching 32 years, so I might be ready for a new adventure. So who knows what my next year is going to hold. It's always an adventure with the Lord, that's for sure.
And was it science? Is that what you taught? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep.
that's right.
7th grade science. Well, I've taught all sorts of things, but the last part of my career third of my career has been, the first half and the last third have been in teaching middle school.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Well, thank you guys for joining the show. We really appreciate it. Appreciate your time. And again, this is no joke, Danny. We are going to lobby and champion you joining the show because you were born for this. This is your mission. This is your calling. We believe that. Yeah, we are into that. So thank you again. Much appreciated. Best of luck to you guys. Always feel free to reach out. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.